I'm here today to talk to you about a very powerful little word, one that people will do almost anything to avoid becoming. I'm not sure if any of you have noticed, but I'm fat. Let's not sugarcoat it. I am the capital F-A-T kind of fat. I am the elephant in the room. Some of you may have been thinking, oh, this is going to be hilarious, because everybody knows that fat people are funny. Or you may have been thinking, where does she get her confidence from? Because a confident fat woman is almost unthinkable. These judgments are insidious. They can be directed at individuals and groups, and they can also be directed at ourselves. And this way of thinking is known as fat phobia. Like any form of systematic oppression, fat phobia is deeply rooted in complex structures like capitalism, patriarchy, and racism. We live in a culture where being fat is seen as being a lazy, greedy, unhealthy, irresponsible, and we tend to see thinness as being universally good, responsible, and in control of our appetites, bodies, and lives. We see these ideas again and again in the media, in public health policy, doctors' offices, in everyday conversations, and in our own attitudes. This anti-fat bias has become so integral, so ingrained to how we value ourselves and each other, that we rarely question why we have such contempt for people of size. And do we really want to live in a society where people are denied their basic humanity if they don't subscribe to some arbitrary form of acceptable? The real elephant in the room here is fat phobia. We can shift society's reluctance to embrace diversity and start to celebrate the myriad of ways there are to have a body.
To me, it's almost like reverting back to the civil rights movement. Now we're telling fat folks that they have to buy an extra seat. Not too long ago, my grandparents had to sit on the back of a bus. It's almost like segregating folks based on the way they look.
I can't imagine. Did you really say that?
Calm down. Don't act like you're offended by KKK. You're so offended by me saying that your approach is so tough.
Why do you keep acting like a victim, though? That's what I'd like to know.
First of all,
well, I don't think we can let something about the KKK just sit there. I find that so incredibly offensive, and offensive to the people who, at the hands of that despicable organization, have suffered.
You are coming from a totally different place than Jillian is coming from.
Why would you project something like that on
Because
stage?
you're projecting it, own it. If it is what it is, I would respect you so much more. Say what it is. You have a problem with fat people. I would respect you so much more if you said, look, fatty, I can't stand you. I hate you. Get the weight off.
Now, I understand you're passionate about this. You know, this is a picture of you with your grandmother. And you obviously...
I obviously hate her, don't I? Just hate her. Hate my mom, hate my dad. Why could you say something like that? You know nothing about me other than the propaganda.
You know nothing
May
about
I finish
me.
one statement?
You know nothing about me.
I haven't gotten to finish one statement. If you read my blog, if you go to actionagainstobesity.com, if you go to findingthin.com, you'll find out what I really am. And then if you want to criticize me, criticize me. Don't criticize me based on what the pro-fat movement writes about me. I wouldn't like that person either.
I did go to your website.
But don't say that I hate a certain group of people when nothing could be further from the truth.
I have two comments to make. First, I want to direct this to Miss Skinny Minnie.
Which Miss Skinny Minnie?
Isn't her name Mimi or Skinny Minnie?
Yeah, okay, Mimi.
Well, the skinniest girl up there. Anyways, she made a comment that you have to have a lot of willingness and motivation to be skinny.
I was quoting Dr. Kelly Brownell of Yale. That's what he says.
I don't care who you was quoting. You said it, own it.
I agree with him, absolutely.
Okay, good. But I'm a plus-size model. I am willing and motivated to wake up every day to keep these curves. I don't want to wake up and look like you and be confused and quoting everybody. Why don't you say what you have to say and stand up for what you believe?
Oh, I was just tagging on to, she was talking about the same Yale Center, so.
Okay, but let me ask you a question while you're standing up. Why is it okay for you to call her Skinny Minnie? But it's not okay for her to comment about someone's size that's larger.
Well, I don't know her name, so, okay, you got me on that, but moving on. No chubbies. No chubbies. No, I got something for no chubbies.
You said it. Own it.
The difference is was she insulted when she was called skinny.
Okay.
We brought together 4 outspoken people to debate that question. Is it actually okay to be fat?
There are 10 million females, 1 million males who suffer from eating disorders in this country. There are really heartbreaking statistics about self-esteem.
I think the most important thing that we can give to a child is a love for their body. And having cake and ice cream at someone's birthday party isn't why America's fat. It's acting like every day is somebody's birthday party is why America is fat.
But what about when you start to go the other way and you say, oh my God, food, let's be so scared now. That's such a bad thing. I think that's also planting, the anorexic seed possibly from the beginning in children's minds.
I mean, I started out as a kind of chubby kid and increased through all of these behaviors. I am this size because I dieted for 20 years.
Well, dieting doesn't get you to that size.
It does, actually. So when you go through the cycle of weight gain and re-loss and gain and loss and gain and loss, you do wind up at this size. I know, I did.
I was bigger than you.
I would never be a thin person.
Sat here.
I would never be a thin person. I was not before my dieting behaviors began.
But you're not answering my question.
She's saying that you've
I'm
given
saying
up.
that it's not about giving up is the thing. Like, I gave up dieting because it was a loser game for me. It made me fatter. It made me incredibly unhealthy. It made me full of self-loathing. I have permanently screwed up my metabolism because I dieted from the age 7 to
I do agree that there is stigma that I have to deal with because I am fat, but I'm actually really in celebration of my body. I find beauty in diversity. I think we come in all shapes and sizes. And the assumption that we've dealt with a lot on this show is that just because you're obese, you must overeat. You must have an eating disorder. I know that not to be the case. I know you can have a healthy relationship.
Now, Mimi, you say this is misleading. Go have at it a little bit.
Well, I certainly think that we all want to feel good about ourselves. That's understandable. I don't think people should feel demeaned by their size. And I also couldn't agree more with the message of daily exercise. No matter what size you are, you'll certainly benefit from daily exercise. You can't be healthy without that. But then let's talk about where we disagree. Look, if you want to feel good about yourself, it's impossible to feel good about yourself when you're doing something that's self-destructive. Also, self-destructive behaviors that result in damage or debilitation or even disfigurement to the body, that's never going to be perceived as beautiful.
The thing is that I think that the Hayes approach, the health at every size approach, has been documented to work. And it's been documented to work year after year.
What do you mean work? What do you mean work? Because a health at every size is a lie. If you starve yourself into damage, that's unhealthy. Or if you eat yourself into damage, that's not healthy.
You're making a lot of assumptions.
That's just not.
Here,
that's not true.
You're making a lot of assumptions.
That's like saying
about
that.
Weight
let's
being
say you were a smoker.
Let's say you're a smoker and have black lungs, and you try to say that's healthy because you don't have cancer yet. We know that it is actually factual that obesity is dangerous, and it's connected to cancer, stroke, Alzheimer's. We even know it's connected to an increase in birth defects. So there's nothing left to debate.
Mimi?
It's not.
I think one of the prevailing things that are happening here is that what I'm hearing is this intense sort of discussion around self-hatred and when you're in a bigger body. And I wanted to ask people, like down the front there, you who's 20, is your life better? Are you happier? Is everything better now that you're slightly smaller than you were before? I mean, I think one of the things that...
let's get an answer to the question. Are you?
Absolutely. And I'm not a little bit smaller, I'm a lot smaller. And I did do research into everything. I can still have kids, and that may not have happened if I had stayed the size I was. Like, my question to you is, can you honestly say that you are 100% happy and healthy? Like, you have no medical conditions whatsoever, you have no problems at all with your health? At your weight as compared to...
Can we have an answer? No. The question's been asked. What's the answer?
I think it's really interesting that I feel like I need to justify my existence in this room.
No, but hang on a minute. You asked her to justify her decision.
I asked her if she was happy. I didn't ask her to justify what her health issues now or if there is any.
But have you got any health issues?
No, I'm perfectly happy.
I'd love to know, like, what do you see as healthy with eating?
Yeah, it's interesting that you've just assumed that I eat bad food because of
my
my size.
I'd love to know, because if you're really healthy, do you have any joint issues, or so you're completely...
I swim 2.5 kilometres a day. I walk, I exercise all the time. I am in a synchronized swimming team, and I really resent the fact that I have to actually justify my existence and my ability to live in the world in a bigger body in a way that I'm
But we're all
happy
talking
with.
about health tonight. I mean, the whole show is about weight and health.
No,
So
what
it's
we're
not an
talking
unreasonable.
about is surgery, and we haven't actually talked about the possibility that you can actually live in your life.
No, but we
in
have.
this body.
We have talked about that. But all I'm saying is that a question to anyone about what they eat in the context of this program, anyone in this room, is perfectly reasonable, I think.
But it's interesting that they've only been directed at fat people.
No. It's not about being fat or not being fat. It's about what everybody eats. Well, it's about what everybody eats and what health is. What health
you're conflating that
No, I'm not conflating anything. I'm saying I think it's perfectly reasonable in the context of a discussion where you've got research that suggests that people who are overweight and people who are obese can be more prone to particular health problems. I think it's quite reasonable.
You might know me as that girl who really hates thin women, which is funny. Don't hate thin women. Recently, actually it wasn't that recently, it's just been reblogged a lot lately. I made this post in response to a person who denied their thin privilege and essentially called me an angry fat bitch. Well, although true, is not necessarily entirely true. See, the thing is, I might be fat and I might be angry and I might be a bitch, but thin privilege is a real thing. So, considering the shitstorm of messages that I've been receiving, once again, we are going to go over the difference between oppression, privilege, and prejudice. So, in the realm of sociology, women's studies, ethnic studies, whenever you're talking about class in relation to gender and race, sexuality, body type, ability, etc.
Australia's obesity epidemic is about to get worse.
The country's battle of the bulge. More than 60% of Aussies are obese.
Australia will be in the grip of an obesity epidemic.
We are still putting on weight.
Hi, my name's Kath Reid. I'm a fat activist in Brisbane. I blog at Fat Heffalump, where I've been blogging for about 5 years. And it's my goal to change the way people think about fatness. I always thought I was fat. One of my earliest memories, I was called fat. I've always been called fat. And I believed that the worst thing a person could possibly be was fat. Through my teens and 20s and early 30s, I just battled it in every single way I could. You name the diet, I was on it. You name the weight loss plan, I was on it. I believed that I couldn't do anything in life that was good until I was thin. I couldn't have any form of success, couldn't have a good job, couldn't have a loving relationship, couldn't be happy in any way. So I didn't try. I haven't always been fat. I was actually a regular sized little girl, and when I was 17 I was actually diagnosed with type 1 diabetes.
Hardly a morning goes by that we don't talk about weight issues or we don't talk about stories in the newspapers that are talking about fat jabs and how to lose weight and how to keep fit and all that sort of thing. Well, we have got in the studio this morning Whitney Thor. Hiya, Whitney.
Hi.
Good to see you. Whitney is from Greensboro, North Carolina, and she's famous. You became famous after being on YouTube, and basically it was a video entitled "A Fat Girl Dancing."
Right.
It went viral. Millions and millions and millions, about 7 million people, know her because of this.
Jesse on it. That flight, let's get on. International. First class seat on my lap, girl. Riding comfortable. Cause I know what the girls them need. New York to Haiti. I got a lipstick stamp for my passport. I make it hard to leave. Been around the world.
Loving the moves. But, now, tonight on the TLC channel at 9 o'clock tonight, Whitney has got a new series called My Big Fat Fabulous Life. And
it's actually called Whitney Fat Girl Dancing here in the UK. It is.
Right, well, there's so much for that research. Okay, so you're still dancing.
Yes.
Yes, and a lot of people maybe say, who are you kidding, really? You're dancing here, but really this is not the sort of advert that we should be having.
I think talk about marginalized groups and dominant groups, or occasionally minority groups and dominant groups. What a dominant group is, it is the group that has a particular privilege over the minority group. For instance, though I don't want to compare struggles, this is just an example. In this country, and in most countries, people of color are sincerely and genuinely disadvantaged in comparison to white folk. This is because of a plethora of reasons, mostly because we live in a racist, fucking shitty society. This lack of equality we call racism. It is in form of institutional, individual, and cultural oppression. This means that white folk have privilege over folks of color. This is because precisely that we live in a racist society. Now, this applies to a lot of things: homophobia, sexism, fat phobia. For instance, I'm fat. Because I am fat, there is a whole list of things that happen to me that don't happen to thin people solely based on my size. Now, I could go over a huge list and tell you of all the ways that I get treated like shit because I'm fat, but I really don't have the time, and quite frankly...
Talk about a subject related to feminism in under 4 minutes. So, 4-minute feminism. Today I wanted to talk about what is considered even a controversial subject within feminism, thin privilege. Before I start, I'm going to say I'm a thin person, I have thin privilege. I don't experience any form of fat phobia or fat shaming, so this is coming from a privileged perspective. People in the West very clearly live in societies that glorify a specific type of body. That's the kind of body that's glorified in television, in movies, in advertising, basically any kind of visual media. This glorification of very specific body types affects everyone. It affects your self-esteem, it affects your own self-image, it affects the types of bodies that you think are acceptable and are attracted to. So a side effect of this glorification of very specific body types is the idea that fat bodies are unattractive, unappealing. On the opposite end of this, a lot of people argue against the existence of thin privilege because very thin bodies are also stigmatized. And
the destruction of this scale is dedicated to all of the women whose lives have been ruined and ruled by it. This is for us, ladies. Safety first. Oops. I'm tired of you stealing my life. I'm tired of you making me feel if I'm good or bad. I'm tired of you deciding how my day is. No more of you deciding my life. No more of you stealing life from me. This is it. I take back my life. I'm in control. I decide if I'm good or bad. Not you. I deserve a great life. This is about me. This isn't about you. Oh my God. That's like better than sex.
Fucking lying there, you fucking dipshit. That is not what a fetus looks like, okay? It's a clip of cells at 12 weeks. And it does not look like that. It's a clip of motherfucking cells. No hands are shown for that time. You're just a white fucking privileged racist fucking male that doesn't stand for women's rights. Get the fuck out of here. Fucking dipshit. And get that camera out of my face, either. Fuckwit.
I want to call the police.
Fuck you.
Will, Riley. Hold on a second.
Fuckwit.
We are calling the police, ma'am.
You are fucking white male privileged assholes.
I'm calling the police right now.
What you are is a racist motherfucker as well. How dare you fucking do this kind of shit, asshole?
You're being videotaped. We'll return this to the police.
Go ahead. Go right the fuck on ahead, you fucking sexist, misogynistic motherfuckers. That is all you are. You don't give a shit about women. You don't give a shit about life. All you are just a bunch of fucking assholes.
Are you calling the police? Are you calling the police?
Back off. Back off. Right now.
Oh, you are? Just a bunch of misogynistic motherfuckers. Take your male privilege somewhere else. No uterus, no right to talk about it. Understand me, motherfucker?
I'm listening to you.
No, I don't give a shit. Get the fuck out of my face now. Your signs deserve to get fucked up.
Come on. Yeah, female, I saw it.
Go ahead, take over. Go ahead,
We're going to go outside. We're going to talk. We're not going to make a scene. You understand me? Yes. We're going back.
Can we talk to Mark and see what direction we're going?
Police officer.
Here was standing by his side. She started yelling in his face. I was leading them, so I could walk over with her.
Here's this, right? All I did was go into the office of my apartment development, right? And they refused to give me the form. I'll talk about that in a minute. This guy walked into the office when I was there, and now here he is parked out here, right? Stop stalking me, right? Don't ever stalk me again.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
About what?
Don't ever stalk me again.
Who's stalking you about
You. Laugh some more. Do it.
You're crazy.
Is that right?
Yes, it is.
Say to the camera that you're not stalking me.
I am not stalking you. I don't even know who you are.
Is that right?
That's right.
You want to give your name?
I do not need to. You want to give me yours? You want to give me yours? Yeah, I didn't think so. I have no idea who you are, lady. So, you know, you're dreaming. You think I'm stalking you. Good luck with that. Well,
Keep talking, why don't you?
But we told you he's an Article 4 free inhabitant, so he does not have to have a license. This is on recording. Article 4, free inhabitant, pursuant to the Articles of Confederation. You can look it up. It's in the United States Book of Codes. It is your laws you have to follow.
All right, I will do that. Want to walk you back here?
Article 4, free inhabitant, pursuant to the Articles of Confederation.
Put the camera down for me. Is that if it records, that's fine. But I don't want you holding anything.
No weapons, no weapons. All right, no.
Okay. So what I'm going to ask you to do is the same thing.
And get out of the car?
Yes.
No, I'm not getting out of the car.
All
You
right.
can go get your superior.
Well, I am going to tow this car, and you cannot be in the vehicle while I'm towing this vehicle.
Well, if you go get your superior,
That's not
he'll
gonna happen right
clarify that he can be set free because he does not
That's
have
not
to have a
going to
license.
happen right now, young lady. So either you're going to come out of the car on your own free will, or I'm going to assist you.
I'm going to get out of the car and walk down to that house.
No, you are not free to leave right now.
Are you saying you have authority over me?
Yes, I do.
You have proven authority over me.
Yes, I do.
How did you do that?
The County of Imperial through the sheriff.
You do not have authority over a human being,
Right,
over
well,
a free
you know what?
inhabitant.
Do you want to argue the point?
You need to go look up your
I don't
laws.
have to look at anything right now. What I need to do is get you out of the vehicle. If you have identification, please hand the identification over to me.
No.
Identify yourself to me.
And I'm not going to step out of the vehicle.
All right. Well, you know, you are impeding my investigation. You are delaying me, which is a penal code violation in the state of California.
That law only applies to U.S. citizens.
Well, where are you a citizen of?
I am not a U.S. citizen.
Well, see, that's
I
where
am
you're
a free
mistaken.
inhabitant. I am of
That's
the
where
earth. I do not belong to any corporation. I do not belong to any country.
Yeah, but as
no.
long as you're in the sovereign states of the United States, you will abide by the rules
No.
and laws.
See,
and you have
a
certain
free
protection.
a free inhabitant is they are allowed to. They're free people. They have all of the rights of a U.S. citizen without following any of their laws.
Well, that would just be pure anarchy
No,
if that were the case.
No, because
So I'm
we're
gonna have
peaceful
you step
people.
out of the
We're
vehicle
peaceful
for me, please.
people. You go call them up and ask them, and they'll tell you exactly what I'm talking
Well,
about.
I don't know who to call.
Your superior.
Well, I am a superior to a certain extent.
So call your superior.
Well, it's going to take a couple hours or so for somebody to come down.
Well, just
and that's
call
not going to
them.
happen right now.
Well, then we're gonna have to solve it some other way.
All right.
We just need to. You need to call in, tell them I'm a free inhabitant, and find out what
well,
that is.
I am going to tow this vehicle, young lady, so you cannot be in this vehicle.
I understand that. So all right, then I'm gonna get out of the vehicle and I'm going to walk down to that house
No, you're
because
not.
you do not have
No,
authority
you're
over
not.
me. Well, then I'm not getting out of the vehicle.
No, you're not.
Why?
You're not free to leave.
Why?
As soon as I conclude the rest of my investigation, you will be free to leave. As far as I know, you have not done anything wrong at this point, but you are slowly reaching to that point,
you know
to 148 PC.
I'll get out of the vehicle for you. I will get out of the vehicle. I'm getting
All right, well, you're not free to leave.
You're
going to take the bag off.
No, I'm not.
You're going to take the bag off.
No, I'm not.
Relax your...
Hey! You're raping me. This is rape. This is rape. This is rape.
Relax.
Okay.
Relax your arms.
It's relaxed.
Stop fighting with me.
It's relaxed.
Stop fighting with me. Stop fighting.
All right. I'm not fighting.
Center 2, 5, 6. I got a combative X-ray.
Here, I'm lifting my arm up. I'm lifting my arm up.
Leave your arm right
it
there.
hurt. Okay, I told you what I was doing.
This is pain compliance, okay? It's not meant to be comfortable.
This is illegal.
Do I have your attention?
This is completely illegal.
Let go.
No! Take my bag off!
I can't.
You're not putting me in the car. You can wait till you get superior. You are not taking my bag off. You can handcuff me with my bag on.
You're right, I will. Relax.
I'm relaxed. You got my bag! You got my bag! You're gonna get in so much trouble, you son of a bitch! You're gonna get sued! You don't even know what you're doing! I'm telling you, I'm
Young
gonna
lady,
fucking sue you!
Stop.
What's your name? Argadona, you're gonna get arrested. You're gonna get fucking... Oh my god, you don't know your own laws!
Relax, young
You
lady.
don't know your own laws!
Relax, young lady.
I can't believe you just did this.
You need to calm down.
You're gonna get in trouble. You don't know your own laws.
Calm down.
You're illegally doing this. I told you I was a free inhabitant.
Calm down.
You are illegally doing this.
Young lady, calm down.
You are illegally doing this. I told you this is against my will. You did this illegal. You cut my bag.
All right, you're under arrest.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Give me my stuff.
Relax.
No.
You're
Leave
under
me
arrest.
alone.
You can't have this big camera around.
You can go get your superior.
I will
go get,
somebody,
and I'm
but not
waiting
right
right here. Go get your fucking superior. You son of a bitch! Give me my fucking stuff! You fucking asshole!
You need to calm down.
You need to fucking learn your goddamn job because you don't know your fucking laws!
Center 2, 5, 6.
Go get your superior and go
Calm
get
down.
your fucking laws!
Let's go.
No! You son of a fucking bitch! Fuck you! You stupid son of a bitch! You don't know what you're fucking doing! You're gonna get fucking in trouble! Oh my god, you son of a...
I am the feminist who is out to ruin your life. I am the feminist who is ruining your perfectly respectful marriage by suggesting Audre Lorde to the book club that your wife attends. And yes, I am the one who convinced her to get that shorter haircut that you pretend to like but don't really like. I am the feminist who is pushing your daughter down the slippery slope of sluthood by giving her a high five when she says she keeps her own supply of condoms. And incidentally, I've tried to turn her bisexual by recommending some dental dams. Yes, I am that hysterical feminist who demands trigger warnings on scenes of rape and violent sexual conduct. Yes, I am that militant, man-hating ball-buster who insists on opening the door for you just because I made physical contact with it first. I am that ice queen cunt who responds to your street-side compliment with her most frigid, "I didn't need your comment." I am out to infringe upon your rights and freedoms and extra room on the subway bestowed upon you for having a penis. I am absolutely a threat to your way of life.
And if you listen, MRAs should be, if you shut the fuck up and let me read my list, there's the fucking proof.
And so I obviously can't like argue that.
So, number one, shut the fuck up for a second. Feminists do not want you to lose custody of your children. The assumption that women are naturally better caregivers is part of patriarchy. Feminists do not like commercials in which bumbling dads mess up the laundry and competent wives have to bustle in and fix it. The assumption that women
We're working on it, and you guys are trying to dismantle it. But if you'd fucking listen,
I don't believe they do.
then
why are you part of the organization?
saying that we're trying to take away their rights? How are we trying to take away their rights?
Why?
Can you shut the fuck up for a second too?
Well,
so I can
he
read
just
my fucking
listed
list,
how they
so you
are
guys
for.
can actually answer those questions.
Does someone have the yellow flyer with that actual quote so we can both have it in front of us?
On a website, or are
great,
these like
great.
policies on a
Is
website?
a list of the things that we're working towards. Now, if you would shut the fuck up for the 50th billionth time,
we agree on.
these are things that we're agreeing on, and these are things that you've actually all got skewed fucking views on. You think that feminists are trying to take away your fucking rights, but as a matter of fact, what we're trying to do is we're actually trying to work on the same things that you're working on, but accept the fact that you're just too busy hating women. You can't fucking see that we're trying to actually work on those same situations.
Some sort of citation where we actually
Okay, I think.
Or are you conflating feminism, which is an ideology, with women?
So is MRA, but whatever, that's fine. Okay,
So you admit you're a hate group against feminists. You're still a hate
An
group.
ideology. Yes. I also hate a lot of other isms.
So you admit those.
Racism,
Like, what's
sexism.
on this?
Bullshit.
I hate a lot
Bullshit.
of
You hate sexism, but you're an MRA. Okay, no, point taken. We win.
Obviously haven't
Sorry.
read our literature.
Oh,
I have read it.
Somebody doesn't want to hear what we're actually here for, so you just want to
You're not actually working on anything. You're just creating hatred towards feminists.
Yeah.
You don't actually work on anything.
We're actually
You're not creating any change in the fucking world.
Just actually shut the fuck up.
Your website, your fucking website's a hate website against feminists. You're not actually creating any change. You're not working towards anything. You just talk about how much you hate us for no reason.
Feminists do not want you to have to make alimony payments. Alimony is set up to combat the fact that women have been historically expected to prioritize domestic duties over professional goals, thus minimizing their earning potential as their traditional marriages end. The assumption... I'm reading, fuckface. I'm trying to fucking... I'm letting everybody else hear it, okay? It's not just for you, Mr. Entitled. The assumption that wives should make babies instead of money is part of patriarchy. That's right. Feminists...
Something that you've actually heard of.
Derailing for dummies. The author, people, everybody here. Here's the author. Derailing for dummies. A what? Derailing for dummies. Because he doesn't like to actually stay on point. He likes to derail. Okay, that's fine.
You made a statement. I said, where's it on our website? I asked a question. You made a statement. I asked a question.
This is what we're talking about. In general, like, I'm not talking dogs that need to be trained, that need to put on a leash.
Well, if she says it's not...
We don't accept this. You know what? I don't give a shit if that's actually listed on you, but it's not women's fault. It's not feminists' fault.
Why are you making the allegation?
To borrow a phrase, you just use the proof is in the pudding.
So, and this is the message that we have gotten from MRAs. So if that's the message that you actually have gotten from feminists, that we expect you to pay alimony, or that we expect you to lose custody of your children, then listen the fuck up and understand what we're actually about. Because it's not what those things are.
Some guy says it.